On a map, they are lines of division, but on the ground, they are the stage for countless untold stories. A world of quiet moments, ambitions, and daily life, unfolding against a backdrop of history.
American teachers, doctors.
From the streets, a chorus of change rises. A new day is coming.
But history is rarely shaped by goodwill alone. The coup that changed everything, 1953. In 1951, a nationalist leader named Mohammad Mossadegh became prime minister. He believed Iran should control its own oil rather than let foreign companies profit from it. His decision to nationalize oil angered Britain, whose intelligence service MI6 joined forces with the CIA. In 1953, they orchestrated a covert operation to overthrow him. The coup restored power to the young monarch Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, who ruled with strong Western support. To Washington, this was a victory against communism during the Cold War. To many Iranians, it was betrayal. That moment planted the first seed of distrust, a seed that would grow for decades. The revolution that shocked the world, 1979. For years, the monarch ruled with modernization programs, but also repression. His secret police silenced critics. Wealth increased for elites, but inequality widened. Eventually, public anger exploded. In 1979, mass protests toppled the monarchy in what became known as the Iranian Revolution. A religious scholar, Ruhollah Khomeini, returned from exile and transformed the country into an Islamic republic. Soon after, radical students stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, taking American diplomats hostage for 444 days. For Americans watching television, it was humiliation. For revolutionaries, it was revenge for the 1953 coup. Diplomacy shattered. Trust vanished. The rivalry officially began. War by proxy, 1980s. Not long after the revolution, a new threat appeared. Saddam Hussein of Iraq invaded Iran, hoping to exploit chaos and seize territory. The brutal Iran-Iraq war lasted 8 years and killed hundreds of thousands. The United States did not directly fight, but it supported Baghdad diplomatically and indirectly. Washington feared the revolutionary government might spread its ideology across the region. Iranians saw this as proof the West wanted them weak. Americans saw it as containment. Both sides believed they were acting defensively. Both sides felt threatened. The Cold Peace, 1990s. After the war ended, neither nation attacked the other directly. Yet hostility simmered beneath the surface. Economic sanctions tightened. Political speeches hardened. Each government portrayed the other as dangerous. Iran accused America of trying to dominate the Middle East. America accused Iran of supporting militant groups. There were moments when peace seemed possible, quiet talks, secret messages, cautious diplomacy, but suspicion always returned like a shadow at sunset. Axis of evil and escalation, 2000s. After the 9/11 attacks, tensions rose sharply. In 2002, U.S. President George W. Bush labeled Iran part of the axis of evil, accusing it of pursuing weapons of mass destruction and supporting terrorism. To Americans, this was a warning. To Iranians, it was a threat. The rivalry shifted from political hostility to strategic confrontation. Sanctions intensified. Military forces moved closer. Rhetoric sharpened. Yet still, neither side wanted full war. The nuclear deal hope, 2015. After years of tension, diplomacy made a surprising comeback. In 2015, negotiations led by U.S. President Barack Obama produced the JCPOA. Under the agreement, Iran limited nuclear activities in exchange for relief from sanctions. For a moment, the world breathed easier. Flights resumed. Trade slowly reopened. Students dreamed of studying abroad. Families hoped the long conflict might finally fade. It was the closest the two nations had come to reconciliation in decades. Collapse and confrontation, 2018 to 2020. Hope didn't last. In 2018, U.S. President Donald Trump withdrew from the nuclear agreement and reimposed heavy sanctions. The Iranian economy suffered sharply. Inflation soared. Currency fell. tensions escalated dangerously. In 2020, an American drone strike killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. The assassination shocked the world. Iran retaliated with missile strikes on bases housing U.S. troops. For several days, many feared global war. But again, both sides stepped back from the brink. The present-day standoff. Today, under U.S. President Joe Biden, negotiations and tensions exist simultaneously. Talks attempt to revive diplomacy, while sanctions
and military posturing continue. It is not peace. It is not war. It is something in between, a long, uneasy stare across a geopolitical divide. Who suffered more? The answer depends on perspective. Ordinary Iranians have endured decades of sanctions, inflation, and economic hardship. Access to medicine, jobs, and global markets has often been limited. Many young people have grown up knowing only isolation from the West. Americans, meanwhile, have not faced economic suffering from the rivalry, but they have borne costs through military spending, regional instability, and constant security concerns. Measured in daily life hardship, civilians in Iran have suffered more. Measured in strategic anxiety and global commitments, Washington has carried a different kind of burden. Why the rivalry still exists? The conflict continues because it is rooted in three deep forces. 1. Historical memory. The coup and hostage crisis still shape national narratives. 2. Ideology. One nation is a secular superpower, the other is a religious republic born from revolution. 3. Security fears. Each believes the other threatens its survival or influence. These are not quick problems to solve. They are generational. Steps toward recovery. Despite everything, there have been efforts to reduce hostility. Secret diplomatic channels. Prisoner exchanges. Nuclear negotiations. Cultural and academic exchanges. These small steps rarely make headlines, but they matter. They show that rivalry does not erase the possibility of dialogue. History shows enemies can become allies. Former rivals like the US and Japan rebuilt relations after war. That precedent keeps hope alive. Final reflection, the lesson of the rivalry. The long confrontation between these two nations is not simply about politics or weapons. It is about mistrust born from past actions, reinforced by fear, and sustained by pride. The real tragedy is that ordinary people on both sides often have no hatred for each other. Many Americans admire Persian culture. Many Iranians admire American innovation and education. Governments clash. People connect. And that difference may one day be the key to peace. Closing line for your video narration. The rivalry between the United States and Iran did not begin with missiles or sanctions, it began with suspicion. And until suspicion fades, history suggests the conflict will remain, not as a war, but as a story still waiting for its final chapter.